Hello everyone, I'm Laura Cornish, Editor-in-Chief of Mining Review Africa, coming to you from Mining Indaba 2022. I'm here with Allan Widlake. Allan is the new Business Director for Murray Roberts Cementation. Allan, good to see you.
Fantastic, it's nice to be here, Laura. Thank you very much for the invite.
Awesome. Allan, let's talk about mechanization, digitalization, automation, big words in the mining industry. We've done a lot in terms of mining, but what have we done with regards to those elements from a sinking perspective?
Well, it's a great question that the drivers that are driving those in the mine development space is the same drivers that we are faced with for the shaft sinking space, and we are pursuing digitalization in that space to get the same benefits. So we are looking to have instantaneous reporting of all our equipment to surface, both from a productivity point of view and a performance point of view, and that to understand the maintenance interventions that need to actually take place, to actually gain better communication to the underground environment, both in terms of cameras, so that we can actually see live what is going on. We are putting in equipment that is now either remote control or that controlled via umbilical cord to the pieces of equipment, always with the driver of trying to remove people from the shaft bottom, which is a safety driver again. And for our latest project that we are going to be doing, we're going to do just that. It's going to be, most of the equipment is going to be remote controlled. The operators will be removed from the shaft bottom, out of any harm's way, and we believe that it will also at the same time improve the productivity. So it's definitely a space that we are heading in. We are utilizing both the OEMs to provide us with that level of sophistication, but because it is a strategic objective of ours to actually go that way for both in all of our business, we actually acquired a company in Australia called INSIC. It specializes in both the hardware and the software, and as a result of it being in-house, we can tailor make it to suit the kind of environment and not just take off-the-shelf software and hardware that is available. So we've actually put a lot of effort into it, and in fact they are represented here at the Mining Indaba. So the managing director has come out from Australia, and he's actually on the stand for people to actually talk to.
Fantastic. Allan, a lot of things you've said are obviously highly relevant to the industry. One of those was safety. So do you think that the mining industry can reach zero harm, specifically with regards to sinking and development of new mines?
So it is an ongoing quest. We believe that the interventions that we have put in place in the group has led to us having over 5 years of fatality-free mining that we have done, over 6 million shift fatality-free, with a declining lost time injury frequency rate. And we believe that all of these interventions, together with the training that and the effort that we put into the training, is really still paying off. And it is something that we will continue to strive to actually do in the industry.
Okay, no, that's really positive. Allan, the other juicy part of talking, along the lines of mechanization is the impact that it might have on employment. What would your comments be around that?
So I think that, when one compares ourselves against the Australians, or even our Canadian sister company, We still employ much larger numbers than they do on any of the projects. You know, the going into automation and a digitalized world, it does bring with it that you can reduce the numbers of people, retain either the productivities or gain on productivities. But what it does, or what it requires, is that there is a secondary industry that needs, and as a service industry that needs to back up all of that new technology, new software that needs to actually develop. So we will see an increase in skills that will take place supporting the mining industry. So yes, you might see less people in direct employment, but you'll be seeing greater numbers of people in secondary industries that support the mining industry as a result.
Right. So what you've said gets me thinking about South Africa versus international markets. And I'm wondering, Allan, how does South Africa compare to mines in Australia and Canada when it comes to the technology element of sinking and developing?
So I believe that we are not far behind, in terms of the technology. In fact, the same in-house company was actually blown away with some of the stuff that we were doing for shaft sinking, which has not been done obviously in Australia. We might be behind in terms of development and particularly the productivities that the Australians achieving in the development, but it's not necessarily it's the skill of the operators that actually leads to the higher productivities achieved, not necessarily the technology. We're applying some of the same technologies and modern equipment that all our both Canadian and Australian sort of counterparts do. But we really have got to develop career programs for people that are dedicated as operators of these sophisticated pieces of equipment. And people we've got to pay them correctly, train them correctly, to actually achieve all of these higher productivities that are typically achieved overseas.
So Allan, I think that touched on my last question today, which is areas that the industry in Africa needs to focus on, maybe for the next 5 years in terms of sinking and development. You've mentioned one, I'm sure. Are there other areas that you think need some focus and attention in the next few years?
I think that training is going to be one that is ongoing. I think the way in which we operate in the South African environment, there is a need for developing those skills. And I think that you are well aware of our training academy that we have. And we believe that it must be of one of the best in the country and represented here on the Mining Indaba at the MQA Mine Qualifications Authority stand, where we are showcasing some of the technology that we actually use. And I don't know if you're aware of that we have moved into virtual reality training, simulated training, online training, real lifetime mock-ups facilities where they start operating equipment, and I think that there's very few facilities like that. One of the other areas that we're going to be concentrating on is, as a group, will be addressing the group as a whole in terms of common branding globally and common structures and looking also to actually put in place asset finance companies within the organization that is hopefully going to allow us to actually have equipment almost on demand or much stronger relationships with all the OEMs in the marketplace, which is something that we'll be doing in the next 6 months.
Wow. Allan, it's been so good to chat and wonderful to hear that Murray Roberts Cementation continues to remain at the forefront of thinking and development. So many of the things you've said are really good, I'm sure, for the industry to hear. So thank you for your time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks again for watching. Please visit www.miningreview.com for more videos from Mining Indaba 2022.